move on to another topic. And Marvel just cannot leave well enough alone.
Oh God, what now?
What they do now?
Read and weep.
Wait.
Oh boy. Marvel, X-Men, Marvel Retconn's Juggernaut's origin?
What? Huh? What? That's random.
Fucking excuse me?
Why?
Okay.
Because fuck you, that's why.
That's super dumb.
The Juggernaut has always been one of the most unstoppable X-Men enemies and Marvel villains, but now we have a sense of the true reason why. It has been long known that Cain Marko became the Juggernaut, the avatar of the demon god Cyber-Raiden, I think.
Cyber-Raiden.
Thank you. When he stumbled upon a cave shrine housing the Crimson Gem of Cyber-Raiden and took it as his own. As long as Marko has the Crimson Gem, he is infused with Cyber-Raiden's rage and power, making him unstoppable. X-Men Black reveals that Crimson Gem may amplify Cain Marko's rage, but it is not the source. The issue delves into Cain's psyche, both literally and figuratively. Cyber-Raiden has become disappointed with Marko's performance as his avatar. Priests of Cyber-Raiden hold the Juggernaut prisoner while they force him to relive moments from his past. This is meant to be a kind of torturous test, even though eventually Marko realizes none of it is real and begins fighting against it. Cyber-Raiden himself appears before Juggernaut to challenge him. Meanwhile, a young boy, a specter of who Cain Marko once was, appears to Juggernaut. He reminds him of the unloved little boy who was locked away in a closet and abused by those who should have protected him. Cain Marko has suppressed his rage for a long time. Cyber-Raiden sees this as Cain holding out on him. Juggernaut realizes that his deep-seated rage is where his power truly comes from and taps into it, using it to defeat Cyber-Raiden and free himself from the priest's mind trap. This win restores Cyber-Raiden faith in Cain Marko, and Cain leaves as a Juggernaut with his patron's blessing. Juggernaut, however, doesn't want to be under Cyber-Raiden's thumb. The specter of Cain as a child continues to travel with him, and they remember something the priest said about there being 8 gems. There may be a reference to the Octessence, a group of powerful magic beings of which Cyber-Raiden is only one. The others were able to create totems like the Crimson Gem that would turn a mortal into their exemplar. Perhaps Juggernaut will now quest for all 8 in order to challenge his master. What do you think of this new Juggernaut developments? Let us know what you think in the comments below. I have no words.
What the fuck?
I remember, like, is just getting powers from a simple gem not good enough?
I mean, look,
a mind battle between the spirit of the gem and Juggernaut, and then having to beat the gem spirit and say, "Okay, now you can have power."
Okay. I get Venom, the symbiote, originate from an alien race, but this, what?
Sean Retro just said it the best. Oh, come on. What you said, dude. What you said.
Well, bright side is, if you keep going down, Avengers 4 fan art Avengers Catherine Langford as Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, and so far it looks good, really good. So there's half good news there. You know,
and I keep hearing word about seeing Pepper Potts' rescue in Avengers 4, which I want to see because I loved the rescue run.
Yeah, I did see that. I was like, oh, yeah, I did see that. I was like, okay.
And it'll probably be a nice little redemptive penance for certain movies in which we will not speak. Fuck that movie.
Oh, dear God, no.
Yeah, they did tease rescue in said movie, but it was done away with in next to no time. So I'm hoping, as you just mentioned, that will actually be explored more.
Well, the Russos know what the fuck they're doing.
They certainly have more of an idea of what to do than Shane Black did, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
as for the whole Juggernaut retcon, I got nothing. I literally have no words to comprehend, to look at. I'm just looking thinking, what the hell are you guys smoking, and where can I get some? Because I've heard more coherent ideas come from Freeburg and Seltzer. Yes, I will go wash my mouth out with soap later. Because I'm looking at that thinking, what the hell? I got nothing. Let's go to war.
My brain hurts just thinking about this bullshit. Why are we giving the backstory of one character to another? Marvel, that's not how that works. This is the reason I don't read your comics that much. I only go through trades if it's a story I like, and I haven't bought comics in years. My brain hurts. Why do they do this shit?
Because fuck you, that's why, Lydia. That was the worst kaiju impression I've ever done. Dude, I'm so sorry.
What are you doing there?
Sounds like your Marvel Comics trying to answer me. You're like, you know what? I'm going to punch you in the face. How about that? Get to the shed! My head hurts. I just go to, like, you can go to someone else. I don't have an answer for that anymore.
When?
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're gonna screw with the origin of Juggernaut. Why exactly? Aside from because fuck you, that's why? I mean, a legitimate fucking reason? I'm not mad. The story could end up being good, but what was wrong with just one gem? Now he has to go and collect what's pretty much knockoffs of the fucking Chaos Emeralds? And you're welcome for that mental image of Juggernaut going Chaos Control.
Actually, there is actually a cheat in Sonic 3 where you can collect an 8th Chaos Emerald, and by extension, it's not the Master Emerald. It was, I remember reading years ago, it was something that Sega put in intentionally to whereby if you tap in like an up, up, down, down, left, right, and whatever combination of A, B, C afterwards, you would unlock an 8th special zone to collect said 8th emerald. Why it has never been played with since, I don't know. But I only mention that because, you know, you happen to mention 8 Chaos Emeralds, and that's a disturbing depiction that nobody needs to see. At least their Chaos Emeralds are not Hyper Emeralds. Because those that remember Hypersonic, ooh, they got a few complaints about that. Although, interesting thing, I don't know how Towerson discovered this, but next time you go onto Google search, type in Sonic the Hedgehog, and there's an article that appears at the right of the search bar afterwards. Keep clicking Sonic, and he actually turns super. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how Towerson discovered that, but random just came up and says, just look for Sonic in Google. I'm like, okay. You see like a small animated sprite on the right-hand side of the screen. You tap him multiple times whilst he's doing a spin dash, and he just... Oh, okay, that was random for today. No pun intended. But yeah, continue on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off like that.
No worries. I'm not mad in the least bit. But as I was saying, it could be good, but at the same time, I just can't imagine him going on the hunt for these gems. It just does not feel very Juggernauty. But then again, it could be worse. They could have just replaced the Juggernaut's character altogether with someone else with some over-the-top pandery stuff. Personally, I would take the gem hunt over the original Juggernaut going to the wayside for someone who's incredibly over-the-top pander bait. So, we'll see. I can't pass judgment, but at the same time, a lot of these poor decisions with Marvel, in terms of their comics at the least, because the cinematic universe and the games are still good, when it comes to that, I tend to end up buying more Dark Horse comics and DC comics when the rare moments I do get to, or I end up buying manga because I am a filthy weeb.
Yeah, our moments, don't worry.
That's all I got to say about that.
Rather have a filthy weeb than a deranged comic book fan that doesn't know what they're doing. Raiden, did you say your piece?
I did not.
Floor is yours, my friend.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh god, duck and cover.
Wait for
Hit the
it.
deck!
I can already hear the sirens outside. I know where that came from.
What in the actual hell? How confusing is that supposed to be? Like, isn't comic book oranges like easy to understand? It's like, oh, you get powers. Oh, your parents dead. I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna say this right here. When you see a person get superpowers and a loved one dies, you're pretty much desensitized at this point because superhero movies and comic books are like ingrained in your memory nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what in the actual hell?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you took a regular. I have no idea what the origin of a. Okay, technically I do know the original origin of Juggernaut, but
He gets a rock and it makes him strong.
basically, yeah. That's all you had to say.
At this point, I would prefer the Juggernaut from X-Men The Last Stand, man. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Yeah, Avia Rod on the commentary just goes, oh, the internet joke. Hey, at least with My Way X-Men, they're more in touch with the fans than you are at the moment, dude. I mean, crying out loud, you single-handedly ruined the Amazing Spider-Man movie franchise. You just couldn't leave well enough alone. Ugh, sorry, mild rant over.
Yeah, it's
Sorry to interrupt, man.
it is oh my god. Daniel Bryan, help me out. I can't.
That was telegraphed.
The actual fuck. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, Marvel, you make one step close and you just fuck it up for everybody. That's it.
Kaiju.
Now, I can sort of see what they were trying to do here. I mean, obviously, they want to flesh out Juggernaut. They want to explore how his mind works and want to look at his deep-seated inner turmoil. And obviously, that is something that was explored back when they introduced the Juggernaut, him being like I believe, the stepbrother of Charles Xavier, and how, as children, Kane Marco's biological father always preferred Charles over Kane. And obviously that led to a lot of like this sort of like inferiority complex and this whole sort of like brains meets brawn sort of deal between Charles and his stepbrother. And so it looks like they want to take a stab at, the writers want to take a stab at looking at another part of Kane Marco's psyche. So it's like I can understand like the reason behind doing this, but it's like at this point I feel like it is way too late to look at the origin. I mean, it's like unless this is like a reboot, I can understand them wanting to take a look at like the origin of the gem and how there's like a spirit inside the gem. But to say that there's been this spirit that's been hiding in the gem and hiding in Kane Marco's mind this entire time feels a bit contrived. And now saying that there are other gems, in fact, and that now the Juggernaut is going to go find these gems and become even stronger than before. It's like, are they trying to turn him into like a Thanos or something?
I was just about to say.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, from what I understand in most media, they generally depict like Juggernaut as like this big dumb brute who's just there to punch things. Case in point, like both his appearances in X-Men: The Last Stand and Deadpool 2, and even the animated cartoon series. So it's like they want to make him more than just like a meathead. Sure, fine, go with that. But it's like I just feel like this wasn't really the way to go. It's like if you want to give him something to do, don't like kind of pull this out of your ass and say, oh, there's been multiple gems the entire time. The spirit of the gem has been around the whole time. I don't know. I've just never been a fan of that. And I'm not really a fan of like retcons at all. Just like add something new instead of just going back and say that something was there the whole time when you know it really wasn't. It's like interesting concept, but it's like I feel like it's too late for that unless this was like a fully fledged reboot. If this was like Ultimate X-Men and you introduced Juggernaut like this, it's like okay, sure, but it's like for mainstream Marvel universe, I'm not buying it.
The only times I've ever been a fan of a retcon is when Superman Returns ignored 3 and 4, and when X-Men Days of Future Past retconned anything that happened before The Last Stand. Those are the only times I've ever been in favor of that. That and when Knight Rider SG completely ignored Knight Rider 2000 and Team Knight Rider. Just for context, those two are said Superman movies of the Knight Rider franchise. We don't talk about them too much. And yeah, again, to hear a retcon like this where it's just completely unnecessary. And here's another thing they've never really touched upon in the movies. Isn't Juggernaut supposed to be Xavier's brother?
Yep, but they never touch it.
No.
No, not even in The Last Stand.
The only piece of media I can think outside the comics that acknowledged this was X-Men Evolution.
That and that and the original animated series in the early 90s.
I guess it's been a while since I've seen the 90s series. I'll have to try to look for that again and binge watch it. I think it's still on Hulu. I'll have to check. If so, there's that and Spider-Man the Animated Series, because I've been wanting to watch that again.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, it's to Amazon for the great DVD hunt.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Marvel, what the hell? You know, was this really necessary? And they wonder why, you know, people are leaving Marvel Comics in droves, because you hear back crap insane retcons like this where it's not necessary. And also, do correct me if I'm getting this analogy wrong, but do you get the feeling they're stealing elements of Vision's origin from Avengers Age of Ultron a little bit?
Kind of, yeah.
In a way,
It does seem a little deja vu.
Yeah, I just hearing that, I'm like, why? You know, it's not necessary. But I think we'll move on to yet another topic because